Hey guys, so this video is my February calendar, what I'm coloring in. So I'm going to be using these oil pastels I got. It's my first time using it, so let's see how it goes. So my oil pastels are water-based. I don't really understand how that works because oil and water don't mix, but it still works really fine, and I don't understand it, but I use it. So anyway, I'm gonna use two different colors on each side and just like random coloring. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna add water in later. So just random coloring, and I would also leave a gap in between for this one because that's where you're gonna do your blending. So when you're done coloring it in, I'm gonna use a water brush. So the water's in the handle and you just kind of brush it all around and blend it. So in between, when you like switch your colors, I would suggest that you have a piece of paper towel to like brush off the excess color in between so you don't mix them where you don't want to. And then when you do want to mix it, just use little circular motions. So my paper was really thin and the water brush just had too much water for this type of paper. So I just took a normal brush that was dry and just kind of mixed it all together and blended it nicely. Now you're going to grab any pretty much plastic surface you can get. I just use a Topper container for mine. So all you're going to do is just take your oil pastel and color on this, and then take your water brush or just brush dipped in water and just dissolve that oil pastel with the water. So this pretty much becomes your watercolors, and I think that's super cool. So I always start with my lightest color because then you don't accidentally make it darker with your other color. It just makes it so much easier if you start with your lighter color always. I really like this technique because you can mix the colors really easily and it looks like you used watercolors. So for your in-between color, you're gonna like match them. So you're gonna add some like about equal parts of each of your color just to mix it all together. And I think it's so cool because you can actually create different colors. If you only have like 3 different colors, you can make a bunch of colors with that. I'm just taking 2 different colors and coloring randomly till the middle. So I left a gap because I didn't know how to, like I was experimenting with it. So afterwards I just went in and colored it in a little bit more so you want the colors touching. And I just used my finger just to blend them in. And so this one doesn't need any water and it's really fun to do. Just blending it, and it gives you a different look. The only downside to this technique is it's super messy. For most of these techniques, you're going to use 2 colors and starting on each end, blending into the middle. So again, with this one, you're going to make sure that your colors touch and you don't want a gap in between. So for this technique, I'm going to use a Q-tip just dipped in water. And you're just going to dip it in water and just kind of blend it. So this one I actually started with a darker color, but this one it doesn't really matter because of your Q-tip. You can just switch the sides and just blend it easily, where the other ones you just have to clean it each time. This technique is pretty much like my first one. You're just going to take 2 different colors and just work your way inwards with both of them. Except this one I just used a normal brush dipped in some water just to show you that you can use both. So you don't have to use a water pen. So you can just use whatever is easiest for you or whatever you have. So I found, especially with this gray color, when you add water it almost disappears. So what I really like about these oil pastels is that you can go back and add more color. So if it is too light, you can just go in and add more to make it darker. So the more you add, the darker it's going to be. The less you add, the lighter it's going to be. So here's another way that I found to do it, is that you just take your brush and directly use it onto your oil pastel. I didn't really like that one because when you put the water on your pastel, then your pastel kind of becomes watery, and then you have to pretty much wait for it to dry before you can use it for any other technique. I don't know, I just found it really annoying, and especially when using yellow, if you do this technique, it barely picks up any color anyway. So I didn't find it useful. I didn't want to show it because it didn't really work, and it pretty much is just the other alternative to this technique that I'm doing now, is just the coloring on different surface and adding water to it. So here my colors didn't really blend well, so I just went back with my oil pastel, added some more color, and then added some water over top just to blend it more again. So this is what I really like about oil pastels. If you mess up or if it's too light or anything like that, you can just go back and add more and have a different result. So far all my flowers have just been 2 different colors, so I'm going to try and make this one 3 different colors. So I'm doing like a red color and then a yellow color into a beige color just to see if this can work, and it did. So I just used my water brush again and just blended it all together, again working from lightest to darkest, because or else your dark color will be overtaking the whole thing. And yeah, so you can do this with as many colors as you want, different colors, it doesn't really matter, they all work and it's really nice. This technique, you're going to take your pastels and just kind of do random lines. I took 3 different colored pastels, and then you're just going to take your brush and just kind of brush it over with water and blend it all together. Just with this one, you have to be careful with which colors and how many colors you choose, because if you don't, they kind of look really weird. So this one, I think I used too many colors and the color just turned out really gross and I didn't really like it. So just be careful which colors and how many you choose. This one I just did with my finger blending again, but I added less so that it's a much more subtle look and lighter. So yeah. For this flower, I pretty much just did a scale, so at the bottom making it darker and thicker lines, and then moving up making thinner and like less lines. So for this one, I actually started at the bottom, but you're supposed to start at the top so you don't like take all the pigment from the bottom going up. That's why I added a little more at the bottom. So you're supposed to work from going lighter to darker so you get a bigger color difference. So this is my final result. I think it turned out a little bit messy, but I mean, it was my first time trying it and it was really fun. So thank you so much for watching.